Hello, greetings. Welcome to the channel, Karibu Sana, Karibuni. Welcome to the channel. My name is Wanda. This is Diaspora Connect. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my favorite subscribers. I want to say welcome back. Thank you to my new subscribers. I want to say welcome in the room. Do me a favor. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thumbs up. Hit on the notification bell so you'll be notified. So whenever I do a new video or a live, you will be notified. Hello and greetings and welcome. So today I want to do a video and I wanted to share the time that I got robbed or burglared. I did a video in the past about being burglared. And I just wanted to do one because it's been, I think, 2 years or so when it happened. So I wanted to do an updated or a video for you from my perspective of what happened and everything. I just want to share it with you again in detail. So this is helpful for those who are wanting to visit, who want to relocate or do business or whatever. You have to, hopefully this story will give you an idea of things you need to do to be, to protect your assets, to protect yourself when you are traveling through Africa. And specifically, this happened to me in Tanzania, but this can happen anywhere. It can happen, you know, even when I lived in America. And I think I said it in my last, the video I did about being robbed. I lived in Newark, New Jersey, right? And actually, I was in Vailsburg, New Jersey, and we got our house broken into like 2 or 3 times. And we would come home from school, the door would be kicked in, laying on the floor. We ended up putting like a metal door, like some kind of break-in proof door, and it locked from the inside, and you had to have the key. It was just, we were like prisoners in our own home. We put bars on the windows like they have here. My father was determined. He was like, yeah, this is not happening again. I think it was after either the second or the third time we got this steel door. It was like a steel door and break-in proof, all these latches locked on the inside, bars on the windows. Yeah. So this was in the US. So this could happen anywhere. But let me share my story of how I got burglared. So this is what happened. So what I was doing is I was meeting different diaspora, you know, I would usually meeting them at the cafe, but this one particular night I went out with one of the diaspora. She wanted to go out to eat. And it's usually I'm in the house in the evenings, but we went out for dinner. So it was dark when we left, right? So, well, it wasn't really dark. It was daylight when we met at the cafe, and then we decided to go out to eat. So when we were out, it got dark while we were out. So we were out eating dinner. So we had a few drinks. And so I think we had some wine or something. And then coming back, it was dark. It was late and I was tired. And so when I got back, I had my computer with me. And I used to carry my computer bag with me. And in my computer bag, it was like it was just a bag. And it had like all my cords, my headphones. I had the ones that go over the head and the ones that go in the ears. So I had all my cords, my computer, and just everything in my computer bag. So I get home, it's late, and I do my, routine of closing the windows or whatever, but I forgot to lock my patio door. I had a patio that was, I had a patio to my room. So it was a patio that went to the back of the apartment, and it would come into my room, this specific patio. It had a railing around it, and it was a small patio, but you can get in there. So I forgot to lock the patio door. And so that night, when I went to sleep, someone came in there. They took my phone, which was sitting on my nightstand right next to me while I was asleep. I was asleep in my night clothes, half naked in the bed. Someone comes in there. They take my phone, they take my computer bag, and they took my purse. And the crazy part is everything was in different places. The phone was on my nightstand. The computer bag was by my nightstand, but my purse was in a totally different place. it was like on a shelf under some pillows. So, I was trying to figure out, how did this person know where all my stuff was, so keep that in mind. So I wake up in the middle of the night, and I felt like, when I was waking up, I felt like I was pushing out of the dream. I felt like I was forcing myself to wake up. I was trying to push through something, because when I woke up, it was like, like a, like, like I'm waking up, like I'm coming out of the water or something, I'm pushing through to wake up. I was like really trying to wake up. And when I woke up, I felt like it was dark in the room, but I felt like something happened, but I didn't know what it was. I felt like something just occurred, but I just didn't know. So I get up, use the restroom, come back, look on my nightstand. My phone is not there. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it fell. So I'm looking under my nightstand. I don't see it. I'm thinking maybe I grabbed it, put it on the bed. I'm looking through the bed. I don't see it. I look under the bed. I don't see it. So, yeah, it's getting hot in here. Sorry, I'm sweating. So I have a fan right here. So let me turn this around a little bit. Okay. So I'm getting hot just thinking about what happened. I'm getting hot thinking about what happened. So, so, I looked under the bed, and I didn't see it. I looked on the bed, I didn't see it. And then someone said, look for your bag. I looked for my bag was gone. And I knew, and I'm thinking, how to get in? And then I opened my curtain on my patio door, because I had a curtain. And when I opened the curtain, the patio door was wide open. So I knew that somebody had come in there, and so I looked for my purse. My purse was gone. And so that's when I started panicking, because my passport and everything was in my purse. My identification, passport, all that stuff was in my purse. So that is really what made me start kind of feeling like, I just had this feeling of, it was just, I don't know, it's just a weird feel. It was a scared and panicky and just confusion. It was just a whole plethora of emotions. And I was more concerned about my purse than anything. Yes, my computer was gone, my phone was gone, but my purse, And just so happened, when I went outside in the back where the patio door was, this was in the back of the apartment, and I was on the ground floor. They had dropped my purse, but they just tried to look. They looked through it and they didn't see anything, so they just kind of left the purse back there. So the good thing is, when I got the purse, my passport and everything was still in it, which is, at the time I was carrying my passport around. That's when I realized that I need to stop carrying in my passport in my purse. So that's when I took it out and started leaving it in where I live instead of carrying it in my purse. That's how I learned not to carry my passport with me. So that was in there. And then I also had a little pouch in there. It looks like a change pouch, but I actually had cash in there, and they didn't know it. They just, because it almost looked like a credit card, a purse, a little small purse for credit cards. And you can put credit cards in there, but that was actually what I was using as a wallet, because my purse was small. So I had cash in there that they didn't get because they didn't know. So I had that. And then I had my phone, and I had a case like this on it. So they took the case off and they dropped the case in the backyard with my purse, and they just took the phone. But in the back of the case, I had a SIM card. I had two SIM cards, but I had that one in the back of the case. And so I did have one SIM card left. The other one was in the phone that they took. So at least I had one SIM card. So if I get another phone, I can put that SIM card in it. And so, but yeah, that's what happened. They took the computer, all my cords, and my phone. So I was so panicky, because I'm like, at the time I was doing consultations, and I'm like, that's how I generate income. I did have a roommate at the time. So, that was a good thing, in that I had help, a roommate. But my business that I was doing was mainly online. So I needed my computer and my phone, which were both gone. The good thing is, I had an old iPad that I was not using, and it was up in the cabinet in my suitcases. So I was able to, which is this one. So it's old, but it's still workable. Like, I could still use it. So I had this. So I reached up I remembered that. So I reached up and I got my iPad. So I was able to at least go online with my iPad and alert my customers or my clients that, you know, my phone. At the time, I didn't want to mention that I got robbed because it was still too new. I was too emotional to really talk about it. So I was just telling people like, my phone messed up. My phone messed up. But I was able to tell them online. So my clients, I was still able to do my consultations and talk to people and all that through my iPad. It is older, but I was still able to do the email and stuff like that. So, and then I ended up getting at the time, I didn't have the money to get another like iPhone. So I ended up getting an analog phone, and that's like the Nokia phone. So the SIM card that I recovered, I just put that inside that phone. And then the other SIM card that I had in the phone that was stolen, I went to the phone company and I blocked it. I canceled that. I canceled the SIM card on that phone, and then they gave me another one. So I ended up getting another SIM card for the sorry about that. So I ended up getting another SIM card for the in place of the one that was in the phone that got stolen. So that one was cut off that they had, and I was able to get the SIM card and the money that I had, because I had money on that SIM card that was stolen. I was able to get the money transferred to my new SIM card, which was great. So I didn't lose money, at least that was on the SIM card. So, but they had the phone. So, what else? Yep. So that's kind of what happened. I actually left the patio door unlocked, and I feel like it was an inside job because the way that my doors were on the back of my apartment, it was like they had to open like 3 doors to get into my apartment. So I had like a screen door, a glass door, and bars that you can open and close, and they were heavy bars. So they opened 3 doors and I didn't hear anything. And another thing is, I think I was drugged. I had a local tell me that sometimes some people, in order to rob you, like they'll get this potion or something from like the witch doctor, the voodoo doctor or witch doctor, and it's a potion that will it's like chlorophyll, so it makes you sleep deeper. So if you're already asleep, it just makes you sleep deeper. And so I think that's what happened to me, because I'm a sound sleeper and I wake up, I hear every little sound. I didn't hear anything. Like they opened 3 doors, walking around in my room, searching for my stuff, didn't hear a word. So I know that they may have, and I had my door, my screen, my windows were open with the screen in it, so they could spray the stuff in my room while I was asleep. So that's kind of what happened. I was out. Like I didn't hear anything. But the great thing is, I felt grateful that I didn't get hurt. I didn't get touched. Because in some places, they could have came in there. They could have did anything to me. They could have chopped me up in little pieces. They could have, assaulted me, SA'd me, anything. And nothing was done to me physically. I wasn't touched. I wasn't harmed. So for that, in that aspect, I was grateful that I wasn't like harmed or hurt. So I was very grateful. I was thanking the Father for that part. I was still kind of in my feelings about the robbery, because I was saying to the Father, I'm like, why didn't you remind me? Why didn't the angels tell me something? Why didn't I remember to lock the door? Like I was feeling some kind of way for a couple of months, so I couldn't really talk about it. I was in my feelings. I was talking to the Father about it. I'm like, Father, you let this happen? Why? Why? I was just had all these questions. But eventually, I moved on, and I was grateful for, my life. And also what the Father did reveal to me was, and I feel like it was him, because I never thought about it. I just kept asking, why you allow this? Why you allow this? But then it was revealed to me. I say that the way that our Creator sees like devices and technology, he don't see them like we see them, right? He don't see like material things like phones and computers and all that stuff, and cars and clothes and jewelries and all that stuff. The Father, our Creator, does not see those material things and value those like we do. But what he does is he values life, which is what he protected. He protected me. He protected my physical body. Like, I didn't get hurt, I didn't get touched, I didn't get harmed. And what was really important that I really needed was my passport, and my IDs and all that information, all that stuff. They didn't touch that. They didn't take that. They just took the purse, but they did left it on the porch. They could have took the purse and tossed it somewhere, and I could have lost all my identification, but they didn't do that. So I still, at the end of the day, felt grateful that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I was grateful that I still had my identifications and my all my driver's license and my IDs and all that stuff, and all my stuff, my documents. I still had those. So in that aspect, I was grateful for that. I was grateful that I had my life. I was grateful that I wasn't touched. So that's my story about being burglared. And I was angry, but in a small way. I kind of blame myself in a small way because I left my patio door unlocked. I basically got too comfortable. So we have to be careful with getting too comfortable because it's so peaceful and it's so beautiful here in Tanzania. So it's so gorgeous and calm and peaceful. Everybody's like on the poly slow pace. It's easy to let your guard down. So you have to always be mindful of that, which had to learn that. You can't get too comfortable. And even though I feel like it's still wrong that they came in to take from me or burglar me, rob me, but at the same time, I have to take accountability for me not being diligent in making sure all my doors are locked, all my windows are locked. That was something that I had to kind of blame myself for. And I said, yeah, that won't happen again. That won't happen again. So even if I got and I was still living there, I actually didn't move for a couple of months after that. And so I was just paranoid. I was constantly checking. I would check the door and I would wake up, check the door. I was like, it was like PTSD or something because I was like paranoid. I was checking stuff like over and over, over and over for a while. I think it took me a couple of months to even be able to talk about it because I think I talked about it 6 months after it happened. I actually shared it because I only told certain people that was close to me that it actually happened to me. But I couldn't share it online because I was just not ready to talk about it because I was still too in my feelings, too emotional, and just I was like traumatized. I was kind of traumatized in a way. I was, I couldn't talk about it yet, right? So I had to wait till I was able to, and now I kind of recovered from it, but I learned from it also. I learned a lot of lessons in being considered, a foreigner here in, a country that you weren't born in. I was born in America. So I just have to remember that to safety first. I always try to tell women, solo women or women, moving around, even if you're not solo, but you're moving around a lot and you do a lot of business and you do a lot of things when you're by yourself solo in a country that you weren't born in. So you're considered a foreigner, whether it's on the continent or even anywhere you are outside of your country that you were born in. You always have to have safety first. Always think about like the environment, think about how you're seen by the locals. Is it okay, or are you fine with being seen as a foreigner, or do you want to assimilate or get acclimated or blend in to where you're not always seen as a foreigner or a outsider? So it I feel like if you want to, or if it's your desire to relocate to a country outside of where you were born, I would recommend that you try to assimilate. So yeah, you can try to acclimate into it, but just to try to assimilate, meaning try to blend in, try to look like everybody else so you won't stand out, because you can be a target. And even if it's not a target in a criminal kind of way, like burglary, it could be like, overcharging or, just it's never a good thing to be standing out in an environment where everybody is the same and you're different. It's just not the safest thing, and especially if you're a female or if you're a woman. So you have to be mindful of that when you travel around. That yes, be who you are and be comfortable and, you know, enjoy yourself, but safety first. Always think about, you know, your surroundings and the environment you're in, and your attire is very important when you're traveling to different countries, to find out if it's conservative, if it's a Christian country, Muslim country, uh, you know, whatever other places. I don't know how it is in like the Asian countries as far as that's concerned, but I'm just talking about on the continent. You know, just be mindful of the culture and the environment that you are relocating to, wanting to live in or whatever. Just respect uh, their culture and the people in that country. So if you know that they're modest and they cover, then it's just respectful for you to cover yourself. I mean, it's not going to kill you or hurt you because you have to not show your breasts. It's not going to kill you or hurt you because you have to wear skirts that are below your knee or at least to your knee and not showing your thighs. Like, that's not going to make or break your life because you have to respect somebody else's culture when you come from the West or America and you want to live amongst these specific locals in a specific country. It's just the right thing to do is respect their culture and their the way that they do things in that country. You can't come as an American or as a Black British or from Jamaica and think you're going to try to change the way they do things here, change the way they dress or how they, you know, do things. You can't change it. You have to assimilate. You have to, if you want to stay. Now, if you're just visiting, you coming and going, that's different. But if you want to relocate to a specific country, you have to respect the way that they operate in business. You may not like it. You may not like how they operate in business. You may not like the corruption. You may not like this. You may not like that. But corruption is everywhere. It's everywhere, as you can see. It's all in and through America, U.S. But corruption is everywhere. So you learn how they do things, and you just adjust and you work through it. If you prefer to be in a country where it's less corruption, then there are African countries that are more so, they say, less corrupt. But even in those, I would question it because it's a lot of systems set up to keep the locals at the bottom, like certain Southern African countries, Namibia, Botswana. Like, most of these lands are owned by like German people or Mzungus. So to me, that's corrupt because, you know, they are owning land that's not theirs, and they're disenfranchising the local people, which are the Africans. So that's corruption to a point, even if you may not be impacted or affected by it so much, but it's still corruption. So it's corruption everywhere. So, but yeah, I just wanted to do this video and share when I got burglared, the experience and what I've learned from it and what you can learn from it, especially if you're a solo traveler and a woman. Even if you're not solo, but you do a lot of moving around by yourself and doing business and all that, you just have to be aware of these things. Keep your head on a swivel, even over here. And don't get too comfortable. It's beautiful. You're on vacation. You see the beautiful palm trees and the beautiful oceans and the horizon and the beautiful skies that are clear. The air is pure. The food is beautiful, fresh and organic. Safety first. Don't forget to not get too comfortable, and check and make sure you have the safety precautions. Even in looking for rentals, the area, make sure it's safe for you. It's safe for you. So yeah, just wanted to do this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll do another video in the next couple of days. So I'm going to say salama, family, peace. See you guys in the next video.